Well, welcome back into the studio for another Mixed Media Basics. So today we're doing something very different. So I do a lot of experimentation. I don't usually do it in front of the camera. I usually come back and then show you what I've discovered. Today we are going to do it from the top. I'm gonna show you how I experiment with different things, how I got here, and how I approach the different things that I'm going to be faced with. So today, I think you know that my favorite Marabou acrylic art sprays are no longer being manufactured. I have all the colors of these and I'm quickly running out. I like the fact that they're not water soluble once dry, that they are light fast, and like I said, they're waterproof. And so these things make them wonderful to use in any artwork that I'm going to sell. I don't really like to sell stuff that is going to possibly under unusual circumstances going to lose their color. They're going to move on the surface. So if I do sell something that I used something that is water soluble, I usually fix it first. So I've been looking all over for an adequate replacement for my Marabou art sprays, and I have had no luck. I've reached out to companies that I found stuff and asking them all the questions that I have about their art sprays, to no avail. So then I thought, I accidentally came across this product. And well, actually that didn't happen first. The first thing I went to colourcraft. Colourcraft is a company out of Europe. They are who manufactures Gesso. They have a lot of products, unlike the Gesso powdered pigment colors. These are available in the States. However, a lot of their other products are not available in the States. And one of which is they do have a Gesso acrylic spray. Now, I would like to get one of those sprays to try and test it and make sure it meets the requirements that I need for my art. Now, I sent them an email and I got very limited information. They are acrylic. They are light fast. However, I didn't get a clear-cut answer if they're waterproof once dry. So I don't want to pay all that shipping and take a risk. And maybe it's something I do need to take a risk on. I don't know. But that led me down to, how do they get the Gesso colors to be so light fast and possibly waterproof once dry? So I started doing some investigating online and came up with the Schmincke Aquafix. Now, Schmincke is a German company. This product is made in Germany. It is available in the States. They do note on the bottle that this is only for their watercolors, and it's a medium for watercolors to increase the water resistance of the Schmincke watercolors. So, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I probably am not, but I thought, this stuff, by the way, is incredibly expensive. I will have it listed down below for you. My thought was, let's experiment and see if we can't create a spray out of the Gessos using this Aquafix, adding a little water to it because this is so expensive. Maybe 1 pipette of water and 2 pipettes of Aquafix, and then the Gesso for the pigment. And we're just going to experiment and see what happens by doing that, and if once it's dry, whether or not it is actually fixed or is it mostly fixed, or, you know, we're going to put it through its testers to see. So that is what we're doing today. If you're not in the mood for a little investigative experimentation, or trying to come up with this type of medium, then I highly suggest you not watch the rest of this video. How many people have ever said that? Anyways, but this is kind of how it is, very much how I get to experimenting with different products, finding out what they can do, and all the happy accidents that happen on the way. So I thought I would take you for that. I have not tried this yet. I even went and bought new bottles. Now these are mister bottles, so I'm also testing these bottles. They are very much like my water mister in that I've tested this, and it does actually send out a mist rather than a more directive spray like a lot of our acrylic paint sprays do. So that was something else I wanted to test, was a mister bottle. So I did find these, bought a few of them. So I'll also be testing those out as well. I will link these down below, and we can find out how nicely they will work for this type of application. So I did use water in this, and it did in fact mist beautifully, just on a smaller scale. So I think I'm going to make one of these for my travel water because it was awesome. So I'm going to start off with getting my equipment changed out here. I've got a pipette. I do need to get a mixing bowl. I'm going to mix it in a bowl and then add it to the jar. So that is where I'm going to start. Okay, so this is a mixing. I like to use these for mixing because I can pour out of one of these little bent spots for pouring it into a bottle. So that's why I am going to use this one. It's relatively clean. I usually get all the color out, so it won't like make anything a different color. So I think I'm going to use 1 pipette of water. So 1 full pipette of water. And I think I'm going to use 2 of the Aquafix. And the bottle does say to shake well before you use. It does not really have a smell to it. So I'm going to squeeze my pipette, put it in, and get a full pipette. I'm going to do 2 of the Aquafix. All right. Put my water back. So now I'm going to add the brusho. Try and keep my space a little bit clean so that I am not making a whole mess. And as you probably know, this can be pretty messy, the powder pigments. This is, I think it's pronounced gamboge. It's an orange. I love this color. I don't know what it is. Orange and reds were not my, yellows were not my favorite. I still don't really like yellow, but orange is one of my new favorites. So I'm gonna get the powder pigment really mixed in well. Get the water mixed in with the Aquafix. I've got some watercolor paper here to use as our samples. Give it a good shake. Make sure it's well mixed. See if it sprays. Love how this sprays. And we'll do another one and just do it on one part so we can see if it bleeds over. Okay, leave some white space. All right, so I'm gonna let that dry. Then we'll come back and I'm gonna let it dry thoroughly. And then we'll come back and see if it moves or if it moves a little bit. And then we'll go and try, if it does move, then we'll try it with just Aquafix, no water. All right, onward. All right, I lost my patience and I needed to dry these. So I did notice that these have a satiny color to them, sheen. It's definitely not glossy, but it is definitely satin. It has a feel to it. I noticed there's a little sticky sticking to the paper that was underneath. I don't know how much of that is because of Gesso and how much of that is because of the Aquafix or how much of it was because of what I had on my under paper. To be honest, I don't know. But it definitely has a different feel than watercolor does. So let's check this out. I am going to use my water brush and get it pretty loaded with water. And I'm going to pull the Gesso over and try and get that color to move. And I see the water is beating up on it on this side. So I'm kind of excited about that, although this Aquafix is very expensive. This is a 6 ml bottle. And so 2 pipettes is 3 ml. So that's 6 ml. And all we made was that much. So you can see that that would be relatively expensive. This is 100 ml. So essentially I could get, adding half of that back, so 60 ml plus 30 ml of water is 90 ml. So a full bottle would take a full bottle of this Aquafix to make a full bottle of color. Substitute for when I run out of art sprays. So what I've decided to do in the time that it took me to get this dry is I have decided I am going to go ahead and purchase the colourcraft Gesso acrylic sprays. My thinking is, even if they are not waterproof, I may be able to add some of the Aquafix to it in smaller amounts than what I did here to make them waterproof once dry. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sit these in my window and be affected by the sun. I'm going to keep this one this one out and not exposed to the sun so we can see what the original color was. And then I'm going to put this one in the sun. And for as many days as it takes to get the Gesso products that I'm going to order from Europe, and I'm going to leave this in the sun until that point in time, and we'll meet up here again. I know it's going to feel like a snap to you, and for me it's going to be, I'm going to have to be patient and wait, but I want to give you the full how I go through in investigating, and knowing that even with adding water to this, I can get it to be waterproof. All right, I made the decision to do it. It would behoove me to use multiple types of watercolor pigment powders. So whereas on this one I used the Gesso, I this time am going to use Color Sparks. I love these Color Sparks. I carry them. I have them in my shop. This is the Terra Vert color. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Create my 2 samples. Put one in the window and keep one out of the sun. So that's where I'm gonna get going here. So we had one pipette of water to 2 of the Aquafix, and then our pigment powder. I certainly love how these are so much less messy. Get that mixed up. I'm gonna add a little bit more color. That's dry. And again, this is beating up where the watercolor Aquafix mixture is, and it is waterproof. All right, so I'm going to put these in the window as well. We might as well test both these products because they're ones that I have and I like. So I'm going to put one in the window and hold one out of the sun and see how that responds. So next time we meet, we will work on some of the products that I get, the actual Gesso acrylic sprays that I get from Colourcraft, and as always, I'll list what I'm using down below. Well, for you it's just been seconds, but in real time it has actually been almost 2.5 months since the last video to this video, because I have been waiting for the Colourcraft products to come in. I wanted to also test out this product. Gesso, or Colourcraft, has another Gesso. It's called an acrylic mist spray, and it comes in the acrylic regular mist sprays, and it also comes in a shimmer. Now these do have high pigment. They say to shake it up. It does not have a BB. There's not a lot of particles in there. These are exclusively manufactured by Colourcraft, which is in the UK, and stunning results in rich, vibrant colors, which we know from the Gesso. The pigments are very stunning. They're very rich and vibrant colors. I'm going to create a sample using the mist spray to see if it is waterproof. If it is not, then we're going to go ahead and do a mixture using the Aquafix to see if this works to waterproof. So now I'm going to dry this, and then we're going to test and see if it's water reactive. Now this is the same type of watercolor paper that this is. So that has not changed. So I'm pulling out, of course it's empty, a water brush. So it looks like it's reactive here. Very light, but it looks like it. So let's see about when it's been dried. And it is, in fact, water reactive. I was worried about that. So what I want to do now is do a sample with this using the Aquafix. So I think we just use 1 to 2 like we have been doing, and don't have to add the pigment because it's already added here. So this, I don't want to make another spray bottle of this, so I'm gonna mix it. I love this color. And although I notice on these, they did have a haze when we first put them on because of the white of the Aquafix, but they dried true to color. So I'm hoping that will be the same here. I'm going to set this aside to dry naturally. In all my investigation, I ended up finding this product, which is called Power Fix. It's by PowerTex, and it is supposed to make, it's a binding agent, and it is supposed to make the pigments and the bisters. So PowerTex has different types of pigments, and this is a bister. The bisters are made out of walnut ink. So it's a blue pigment mixed with the walnut ink pigment powder. But they also have other colors like turquoise, and these are power colors. So this Powder Fix works for all the kinds of PowerTex pigments. So I mixed up, according to the directions, which is 1/4 teaspoon to 3.4 ounces of warm boiled water that has been then cooled. So you boil the water, you cool it down, and you add 1/4 teaspoon to 3.4 ounces of the water. And then you add your pigment. So that's what I've done here. Now this is going to be a bluish brown because it is a bister, which means that it does have the walnut ink crystals in it as well as the blue. So I did mix that up because I wanted to test out this Powder Fix, because I thought it's less expensive than this. So, and I'll have the price here, and of course I'll have all the products listed down below. And I'm going to spray this with the blue bister and the Powder Fix and water. And now I'm going to let this dry and we'll test that out. Alright, these have had a chance to dry. And so, just make sure I have this brush well cleaned. And so this is the Rose Red Colourcraft Brush Show Acrylic Mist Spray mixed with the Aquafix, and that has worked. So I can add this to the bottles, and I'll probably have everything will be, once dry, will be waterproof. So that's exciting. And then on top of that, we did the blue bister with the Power Fix. Fix, the Powder Fix. I keep wanting to say power, but it's Powder Fix. And so that's good and dry on here. And so we're going to try that, and look at that. Nothing is bleeding out. It is fixed. So that tells me that this is a lot less expensive. So maybe I should try these together and make sure that that will work for me before I start adding it to the bottles. So as you know, when we did these using the Gesso, and this one was using Color Sparks, I put them in my window. These have been in my window
for 2.5 months with direct sun.
The Gesso did not fade at all. And you can see here the Color Sparks did. This part of it was covered by this. But you can see that the Color Sparks did fade. So that was quite a few months.
I'll have to test the Bister as well as the Rose Red.
Well, we'll be just sticking these in the window, and I'll give you an update on these, how they do. So we'll see. All right, well, thank you so much for being in the studio again for Mixed Media Basics, and I will see you again later.